Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Jai Gurudev, are you able to see the screen share? Okay, this thing is... Let me know if you're able to see the screen share. So since we have this index here, we'll just run through this before we go to the verse. So chapter 4, we started with the origins of Karma Yoga, then from teacher to student, the Sampradaya, how this knowledge is transferred from the teacher to the taught. And then self-knowledge does not go away because it is always there. It is what is the truth. Two types of eternity. Self-knowledge is the greatest secret. That this knowledge should only be given to one who wants to know. An objective opinion is always helpful, Should Vedanta be taught to everyone? The cause of birth for the jiva. Omniscience does not require a mind. An understanding of avatara, empirical reality and subjective reality. The relationship among the three orders of reality. The empirical reality of a jiva's birth. The reality of Krishna's birth. Why does Ishvara assume a physical body? An avatara is like an actor. When does Ishvara assume a body? Adharma is the real cause for the destruction of dharma. How can dharma be re-established? By protecting the dharmis. People are culture and religion. Is it time for Ishvara to come again? What happens to the jnani after death? So does he go and merge? He just becomes one. He realizes that he is Ishvara. It's not like he goes and gets lodged somewhere permanently. The nature of fear, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. So we saw how fear was the reason behind the uncertainty because we have limited knowledge. We do not know what the consequences will be. Therefore, there is fear. And nature of anger, when there is any obstruction to our desire not getting fulfilled, that will give rise to anger. The vision of non-difference between Ishvara and Jiva, how it is only because of the upadhis, they're seemingly different, but actually they are one. Relative and absolute shuddhi. How antakarana shuddhi is only relative. And absolute shuddhi is that pure awareness, pure consciousness, which cannot be purified. It is not impure that you have to purify it. It is standalone and it is pure. The pursuit of knowledge is the primary tapas. And how to get to absolute shuddhi is through jnana tapasa. Does everyone come back to Ishvara? That is where we stop. And then as you sow, so shall you reap. Everyone come back to Ishvara. We saw yesterday that they are whatever anyone pursues, any pursuit of anybody, ultimately is the end point is Ishvara. Whether it's going to the gym and developing your muscle, ultimately it is that happiness. Whether it's a thief who wants to steal, but according to whatever action they do, they will be given those results. So in whatever form they um, they pray to the Lord, they will get what they desire. As you sow, so shall you reap. There is no pagan's prayer, there is only prayer. Even those not connected to religion are blessed. Everyone wants to be free from feeling small, and that is why they do. They feel small, and therefore, whatever pursuit they do is to feel unlimited, it's to feel infinite, it's to feel that bliss, that happiness. So, everyone wants to be free from feeling small. The spiritual path need not be arduous. I think this is where we stopped. We'll just go back there. This is 54. There's something wrong. I'm not able to make this full screen. Stop this one. Yeah, okay, done. So does everyone come back to Ishvara? Because Krishna uses the word Bahavaha, many here, Arjuna could assume that only some people come back to Ishvara and others do not. The word Bahavaha, being plural, can refer to any number of jivas starting with three. The point here is that even if it is just three, a million or more, a finite number is implied. Arjuna may therefore have asked Krishna, why does Why does he not allow everyone to come to him? To such a question, Krishna could have only have answered, I can only take them to me if I am separate from them, but I am them. If we were separate, perhaps there might be something I could do about it. But since they are non-separate from me, what can I do? It is not a case of my having to bring them to me because I am already identical with them. There is nothing here that I have to do. As Ishvara, they can invoke me, and in whatever form they invoke me, I bless them. Whatever they desire, they get. Therefore, I am not to blame in this particular situation. I do not have any ragas, dveshas to fulfill in this matter, nor do I take names out of a hat every day to see that some people suffer and some remain happy and so on. I do not follow any such rule. So it is not that Ishvara wields the power for allowing or not allowing people to reach him or go to him. He is already non-separate. What is the obstacle here? It is individual jiva's identity with the non-self. So that purushartha that needs to come from the jiva, not from Ishvara. Ishvara is already non-separate. So in this way, Krishna paves the way for the next section in which he explains how Ishvara is free from any kind of blame with reference to what happens in one's life. Otherwise, we would be left asking why Ishvara blesses one person and not another, and why he is so partial. So I think all those little doubts that we had about why why only some people and not others have to go through the suffering, all that will be clarified by this one concept. Number one, each one has to go through their own prarabdha karma. And it is like we are putting our blueprint for our karma ourselves. So, making use of our free will, what we can do, making use of our viveka, our discerning capacity, as well as choosing right, what to do, what not to do, and how to do differently. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, and anyathava kartum shakyam. That is in our hand as thinking, discerning beings, while animals do not have this capacity to discern, to differentiate. They just go by instinct. We are instinctive, but then above the instinct, we also have this intellect that can differentiate. Therefore, ye yatha mam prapadyante tamstathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanuvartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Says they follow my path all the time, no matter what they do. Yeah, we did this yesterday, but we'll repeat this one more time. Ye, those who, yatha, in whatever way, mam, me, prapadyante, worship, tatha eva, indeed in the same way, aham, I, tan, them, bhajami, bless. Partha, O Arjuna, Manushyaha, people, Sarvashaha, in all ways, Mama, my, Vartma, path, Anuvartante, follow. So, ye yatha mam prapadyante, tatha eva aham tan bhajami. Partha, Manushyaha, Sarvashaha, Mama Vartma Anuvartante. Those who worship me in whatever way, I bless them in the same way, O Arjuna. People follow my path in all ways. Again, Krishna is talking as Ishvara here. The verse is a very important one because it answers the question about how the Lord is to be worshipped, with what degree of devotion, with what inner commitment, with what purpose, and in what form are the people to worship Him. See how the Lord is to be worshipped, what degree of devotion, what level of inner commitment, and with what purpose, and in what form. There are 5 aspects to worshipping Ishvara. So if we put all this into with a view, with a lens of karma yoga, how the Lord is to be worshipped as the karma phaladata. Worship Him, and then with what degree of devotion, with complete faith, Ishwararpana Buddhi, that He is the one giving us the karma. And what level of inner commitment with that Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, that one pointed, single pointed mind, not getting flustered away by that Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham Pravadanti Manishinaha, not getting distracted on the way. And with what purpose? What is the single point purpose for a karma yogi? To do action and to pray, or is for Antahkarana Shuddhi. And in what form are the people to worship Him? In every form. I mean, seeing Him in all of creation. Yata sarva. Um, Yata sarvani bhutani. No, what is that verse? Chapter 18. Yatah pravrittir bhutani. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. So seeing Him in and through creation, doing your duty, that is itself a worship. So in what form? Seeing Him in every aspect of creation. There is so much of oneness that is there, so much of belongingness that comes up. And although you have to see some difference for Vyavaharika, you make a difference between a plate and a dosa, plate and whatever else is there on the plate. But it is with this higher understanding. So it is a very sattvic mindset. According to Krishna, it is all very simple. I bless them in whatever form they invoke me, according to their karma, according to their prayer. For example, those who want wealth and steal to get it are blessed with a prison sentence. It is as simple as that. So don't blame me. Because when creation, when Ishvara created the world, there was a set of every action has a result. So if you're following dharma, Dharma will protect you. If you're following adharma, you have to go through the the papa or whatever sin that accrues when you do adharma. So similarly, a person who wants wealth and steals it to get it are blessed with what? A prison sentence. Because that is the order of karma, the order of dharma. So no one can blame. You can't say, oh, I'm not the doer, so why am I getting this? No. Then you are also not the doer when you're getting the prison sentence. Is what Gurudev says when someone asks, oh, I am not the doer, so I can go and commit a crime. Then when the police catch you, arrest you, then also you go with the same thing, I'm not the doer. You sit in the prison, say, I'm not the doer, right? So there you cannot say, oh, why am I getting a prison sentence? So if a devotee worships the Lord in the form of Krishna, that is the form in which the devotee will see the Lord. That is why when we go back to Avataravada and Krishna, Krishna is what? Pratibhasika, subjective reality. How you see Krishna. Mirabai saw Krishna as her beloved. And there are those 9 different types of bhakti, right? Navavida bhakti. So you can see him as a friend, you can see him as a mother divine, you can see him as the divine himself. So there are so many ways in which you can relate, and that is all subjective. In other words, seeing the Lord as Krishna is purely subjective, even though this vision is very real with the devotee. Devotees will sometimes say, I saw Krishna yesterday. For a devotee who has been worshipping the Lord in the form of Krishna for a long time, it is possible to visualize the Lord in that form. But this kind of a Lord comes and goes, which means that the vision is bound by time, whereas the person who saw Krishna remains. Does this not mean that the devotee is greater than the Lord who comes and goes? If so, what kind of a Lord is this? And what if the Lord appears in some other form? What if he appears as a Western Lord, coated, booted, and suited? The devotee will become confused. Thus, Krishna says, in whatever form I'm worshipped, in that form alone I appear. So he comes and goes apparently, but he's always there because in whatever form you worship him, he's there. So if anyone wants to share anything, just give me a minute, I'll be back.
Like, were they not able to hear anything?
No, she asked us to do some manana.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
coming back, yeah.
There was a big breakdown, internet breakdown. So just now I'm able to log in. I was wondering whether, thank you so much, Mrinal. Thanks.
So was there any sharing? I must have missed a little bit because I was away from for a minute. So if as you sow, so shall you reap. So in whatever form I'm worshipped, in that form alone I appear. As you sow, so shall you reap. This statement can apply to the purpose as well as to the form. For whatever purpose I am worshipped, that purpose I serve. People usually want only limited results. When they are in distress, for instance, they want relief from that distress. Like someone is admitted in a hospital, you want all the prayers are going on to get that person better. A student is studying for an exam, all his focus, the whole prayer is for him to become successful, to get good marks and whatever, right? So although this particular verse is with reference to Vedic rituals and prayers, it can also be considered beyond its religious scope. So it's both for Shastra Vihita Karma as well as Laukika Karma. I am available to you as the various resources in the world, the various laws, powers, and possibilities. In whichever form you invoke me, in that form I am going to appear. So I'm available to you as the various resources in the world, the various laws, powers, and possibilities. So these resources are vast and huge. A person who goes to the gym daily and lifts weights because he or she wants to develop biceps is invoking the Lord in the form of biceps alone and will be blessed with biceps. In other words, the Lord will appear in the form of biceps alone. And if you develop only your left arm, the Lord will bulge out there only. This then is the Lord. See, we can't say that only people who are praying literally to a form, for instance, like an idol, are praying. Every other person is also praying in their own way. So that is the inclusivity of this concept that Lord says, in whatever form you pray, I will give you the results. The Shruti says that in whatever form people invoke, in that form the result will come. Therefore, if biceps are the goal you have dedicated yourself and your life to, then biceps will be what you invoke and biceps will be what you get. The goal, the end, is always Bhagavan, the Lord, even though the person who has no other goal than biceps may not recognize Bhagavan in this form of biceps. So that is different. How the person recognizes what he gets, that is different from different people. It depends upon the depth of their understanding, how limited their knowledge is. The more and more expansive the knowledge gets, the more and more one sees Bhagavan everywhere. Thus, you will find that in whatever form you invoke, in that form alone, the result will come. As you sow, so shall you reap. In whatever form you invoke the Lord, in the same form, the result will come. So, what comes to my mind here is Gurudev's knowledge about the ocean. The ocean has so much to offer, but it depends on what the seeker wants. Some people are very happy just putting their feet in the sand and letting the water splash their feet. Some people like to dive into the ocean, go for a swim. Some others want to dive deeper and get precious stones and pearls from the ocean. So the ocean is available for everyone, irrespective, without any difference. But in what form, how we want to enjoy or experience the ocean is up to individual selves. The ocean will not say, I'm not going to give you this. It depends on our seeking. Therefore, as you sow, so shall you reap. That is why Gurudev says, if you ask, ask for the highest. Don't sit and ask for small little things, this problem and that problem. All those problems will get solved when you seek the highest, because that encompasses everything else. There is no pagan's prayer, there is only prayer. Anyone wants to add, share, please, you can go ahead and stop me in the middle, but I'll continue reading. Although different religions have their own forms of prayer, no one form is more efficacious than another. Unfortunately, there are some religions that say ours is the only way, right? But here, Sanatana Dharma does not make a distinction. It says no one form is more efficacious than another, regardless of the language used to invoke the Lord. The Lord is invoked.
Jai Gurudev, I had the same question in my mind.
Yeah.
So their prayers also will be answered, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Whether it is in Afrikaans or in Sinhalese or Filipino, Tagalog,
No,
whatever
no.
language,
I meant you talked
religion,
about the religion. Yeah.
religion. Yeah. See, even in the religion, it depends on what they are seeking, right? If in their religion, in their prayer, what they seek, they will get.
But their degree also matters.
Of course, the degree, how
That's
you
how
worship.
things are manifest, no?
Yeah. See, again, we are laying the blueprint. Jiva, every individual jiva is laying the blueprint. That is why it is a purushartha. Moksha is a purushartha. Ishvara is there. He has no prejudice. He has no bias against anyone. Like he said before in the earlier, I don't consider myself separate from them. They see me as separate. That is their problem. Similarly, different religions. It depends
Yeah.
on what depth. We don't know. Honestly, I have not gone through other religions like Christianity. We only know little on the surface.
Correct.
We know only what is their surface. We've not gone to the depth. But what that religion conveys, if whoever is following those religions are able to get to that essence, then of course, whatever result there is to come to them, that will come to them,
Correct.
isn't it?
So
So we
even
cannot
even
say,
the people who do agora practices
yeah,
or the black magic, so the result also will get according to that.
accordingly. Yeah.
Mm.
They
If
are
it
only
is
caught up in
on,
that.
yeah, if it is on dharmic way or
Mm,
adharmic way, accordingly
mm.
they'll get.
They'll get.
Yeah.
See, look at Puranas. Lord Ravana, when he prayed, he also prayed, but to get more power. That is what he was given. All the asuras throughout Puranas, whatever we've learned, read, all the yugas, they prayed for overlordship. They wanted to be most powerful. The devas also went to the Lord to pray when the adharma was so rampant, and then they could not take it anymore. The collective prayer of the devas, and that is how avatar has happened, to
Yeah,
again bring back dharma
correct.
onto track.
And see what I mean, when I'm thinking of prayers, usually what we do is, uh, to simplify it, if we want wealth, we'll be praying Lakshmi, or Hanuman for the Shakti.
Yeah,
So whatever Shakti you want to pray, you will get
of course you'll
accordingly.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is a part of, again, Maya only. Even the
yeah,
devtas are a part of Maya.
of course.
Mm.
They're all, but they're here to help us.
Mm.
See, supposing someone is going through a lot of obstacles, we have the Lord of removal of obstacles, Ganesha. So they say, pray to him. So what is happening? Although it is all Maya, but you are, instead of getting entangled in the obstacles and getting very low and dejected, you're given an opportunity. You say, hey, listen, pray to him. He is the remover of obstacles. When you imagine Ganesha as like a huge elephant, then nothing comes in the way of the elephant. So you are actually bringing up that aspect within you of of uh, 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 what should I say, facing those hurdles, facing those obstacles in an elephantine form. So you see how it's a very uplifting thing. Similarly, when someone wants wealth, I know one of my doctor colleagues would say, I don't pray to anybody else. I only pray to Lakshmi because that is what I want. And that's exactly what happened. She was very, very wealthy. Her focus was only wealth, nothing else. But if you're focused, the purpose, that is why initially those 5 aspects in how we worship the Lord, in what form, with what purpose, with what inner commitment, and with what amount of devotion. So for a karma yogi, what is the only purpose? Is to clean up the antakarna. That's the only purpose. So you see how all life's energies are directed towards that one aspect. Everything else fades into oblivion. Then you're not worried about name, fame, money, security, nothing. Nothing bothers one. That is why it is said a person who has viraga, kasya, what is that? Kasya sukham na karoti viraga in Bhaj Govinda. A person who's so dispassionate about the worldly attachments, there's no greater happiness than that person. He's happy sleeping under a tree as he's happy sleeping in a palace. He doesn't attach anything. So the purpose is clear. A karma yogi's purpose is very clear. The problem is, I am talking of myself. I cannot consider myself pure karma yogi because I still have a lot of other other ends. The purpose, if it has to be a true karma yogi, has to be crystal clear. This and nothing else. But as we get up in the morning, there are so many things that come into our perspective. But if we are able to keep, that is why he says, Mam Upashrit, keeping him in our mind, in whatever we do. I am not still able to do that. He, of course, comes, he's there in the background. But am I bringing Ishvara into my perspective every single time I act and do? I'm still to get there. So when these rituals, be they Vedic or tribal, are performed with Shraddha, with faith and sincerity, there will be rain. Without Shraddha, the rains will not come. So this is the second element. How you worship, in what form, is one. Second is Shraddha, with devotion. The mode can be different, but the result, the phala, is the same. Thus, any form of prayer is as efficacious as any other prayer. This takes care of all the religions, right? So it doesn't matter what religion you pray, in what form you pray. If you pray with devotion, this must be understood well, not as tolerance for or accommodation of forms of worship other than one's own, but in terms of simple understanding alone. There is no pagan's prayer, there is only prayer. So I think maybe Swamiji mentioned this verse, this line here. This must be understood well, not as tolerance for or accommodation of forms of worship other than one's own, but in terms of simple understanding alone. I'm not sure, probably he may have said this because, see, whatever religion you're born into, right? At that time, probably there is still a lot of conversion that's happening. So we cannot just say, oh, you know what, doesn't matter. I am a born Hindu. Let me just take to Christianity or Islam or whatever. I'm not sure whether that is what Swamiji meant when he said this. This is only for our simple understanding only. Of course, you accept all other religions, but don't forego your own religion that you're born into. When tribal people repeat a prayer in a dialect that does not have a structure, a script, or grammar, it may not be understood by us, but it is understood by Bhagavan. Language is there. The people think they have said something, and they have. Thus, there is communication between themselves and the Lord, which is all that matters. Even in religions where the believers repeat words in a language unknown to them, it is understood that the Lord understands the language being used. Nothing more is required. It's just getting that connect to the divine. Just as when you send telegram, the other person should be able to read it. When you talk to the Lord, he should be able to understand you. A prayer is a feeling expressed in a certain form, in a certain language, the meaning of which you may not even know. But the feeling, the intention is definitely there. And this is what is conveyed to the Lord in prayer. And that feeling, intention comes with that Shraddha. As for the words of the prayer themselves, the Lord knows all languages. All you have to do is express what you have to express. Even if you express to him in gibberish, he will understand, right? This is not religious accommodation. It is the simple understanding of what prayer is, what Ishvara is. No expansiveness of heart is required here, nor do you need to be a great sadhu or saint. That is why later in this verse, in this chapter, Bhagwan says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham pahyupahrit ashnami prayatatmanaha. So, in what form we invoke the Lord, in how we invoke the Lord, in what language we invoke the Lord, whether we understand what we're doing, we understand the prayer or not, is not as important as the devotion with which one does. So that's Shraddha.
You said 9 Navavidha Bhakti and prayers 5 types you said, no? Can you repeat that 5 types?
Prayer, not 5 types, 5 aspects of the prayer. One is how we invoke the Lord, which is what was there. So how we invoke, this was in the first paragraph. Because this verse is important because it answers the question about how the Lord is to be worshipped, with what degree of devotion, with what inner commitment, with what purpose, and in what form. So these are the 5 aspects of how one worships the Lord.
Correct. Thank you. So the purpose is good for whole society, or then it also get fulfilled.
Right. If the prayer
So
is Loka
if
Samasta
other
Sukhino,
religion prays for some wrong things, it will not get fructified.
no,
It's
whatever
not
you
good
pray
for
will
the.
fructify.
Okay.
Ishvara does not make distinction, oh, I should give only this, not give that. No,
But other 4 things, inner commitment and devotion, it is there. So that wrong purpose is also get fructified.
correct.
Degree. Hmm.
See, if you look at all the asuras, the Danavas,
Hmm.
when they prayed for what? Their purpose was different altogether. Was it a good purpose they prayed for? But they still got their boons, no? But of course, the boons
That
came
is
with a
their
little.
selfish means that
Correct,
can.
correct.
So.
But they got their results. So, with what purpose you pray, that's what Bhagwan is saying. Those who worship me in whatever way, I bless them in the same way. He does not say, oh, uh, I will
Gurudev
fulfill
gives
this.
example of that Sainik also, na, of the soldier. They
Huh,
are so purposeful and so committed, so they will do on the war field only, not outside. Anyway,
yeah.
this example is not connected, but still I got it in the mind.
Jai
Thank you.
Guru, even Hiranyakashipu also, so many clauses he gave. Not in the
Right.
morning, not in the night, not inside,
Correct.
outside. So everything
Correct.
got fulfilled.
Correct. Correct. He had to, because that is the order, that is the law of karma. So whatever is given, he had to fulfill all that. Despite that, ultimately what? Satyameva Jayate. Ultimately, truth will win. Dharma will stand out.
And whenever a dharma is increasing, that shloka is there, no?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yada yada hi
with
dharmasya
the
glanirбhavati
Glanirбhavati.
bharata abhyutthanam tadatmanam srijamyaham. So Lord Narasimha had to come in that form for that single point purpose of destroying Hiranyakashipu.
Thank you, Brindaji.
So, understanding the nature of prayer is not to be confused with how each religion defines God, which is where all kinds of problems arise. When it comes to real issues, concepts, and so on, there are real problems. But these have nothing to do with prayer. The real issues are, what is freedom? Why exactly am I praying? Is it for a limited purpose, result, or for some other reason? If moksha is what you want, then there is something to be understood. That you are the whole is a fact, not a belief, and is entirely different from what is being said by the various religions of the world. Because it is a fact, it is to be understood quietly, which has nothing to do with your commitment to religion as such or to one religion in particular.
Now the new Instagram reel is coming, no, Gurudev? Means not for religion, but for the humanity he is working.
What is that reel?
Instagram reel coming, no, that Gurudev's 75th birthday, for 75th birthday. So he worked for a humanity,
70th,
not for religion.
70th birthday. Yeah.
70th. Oh, sorry, 70th. That reel, where it is said he is working towards the humanity. He doesn't see the religion, caste, or countries or like that. The humanity is the priority.
Oh, is it? I've not seen. If you don't mind,
Mm.
can you share that reel?
I can
Because
share. Yeah.
I might need
Thank
to use it today. We have a meeting today. So I might want to use that. Yeah. Yeah, which is true. I mean, that's what he has, irrespective of caste, creed. No matter you might, how many, look at all the religious, um, different religions that have come to the art of living. Gurudev says you continue to be, you'll just become a more devout Muslim, a more devout Christian. You don't need to you don't need to drop your religion. You don't need to convert. It has nothing to do with your religion. It is what Gurudev is talking about is just pure spirituality, which he very nicely, very practically says, religion is like the banana skin, whereas spirituality is the banana. Problem is people are holding on to the skin and leaving the banana. So what is everybody wanting? The real issue is what? Feeling limited, and you want to feel unlimited. You want to feel infinite. You feel there is lack of freedom and you want to be free. Everybody, irrespective of any religion, these are the real issues. So, so understanding the nature of prayer is not to be confused with how each religion defines God. Problem is we get into conflict as to how every religion defines God. We are only fighting and arguing at the superficial level. Oh, Hindus have so many idols, so many gods. They talk of one God, but there's so many gods. Why are we getting into that? Right? Same thing with Islam. They claim there is no idol worship, but then they also have, in principle, they turn towards one particular direction when they pray. Why do they do that? Isn't that also signifying that there's some element of idolatry there, and they have a Kaaba? So instead of getting into all the superficial, unnecessary, and irrelevant arguments, look at the truth of the matter. What is the real essence that everybody is seeking? They're seeking freedom. Even those not connected to religion are blessed. But we've got 2 more minutes. Does anyone want to share anything? So even those not connected to religion are blessed. What Bhagwan says here is not only with reference to prayer, but applies beyond prayer also. That is, even a person who has no connection to religion is blessed. This includes people who claim not to be religious and those who are critical of religion also. So he's including also the atheists. For some people, religion is nothing more than money and power. And for a communist, religion is statism. Whatever religion is for them, in that form alone, they are blessed, meaning they are not condemned. In this verse, Krishna tells Arjuna, all human beings follow me alone. Mama vartma anuvartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. In other words, whether they know I am the one that is sought after or not, they are on my track alone. At the end of the track, I am always there. They may think a particular destination is their destination, but that is only a lap in their journey. If money or power is their destination, they are still on the road to me because power and money are also me. Remember, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, is with me. Power also is with me alone. So, what comes to my mind is the Guru Mandala. You know, they're on the lap, so beautifully Swamiji's explained. So, they are on the track only, but they're somewhere in the bottom rung if they're going after money, name, fame, and all that. But what is the purpose? The Bindu, the, the Guru or the divine, that is the goal. There are different types of wealth, Lakshmi. Those who dedicate their entire lives to health, for example, may enjoy Lakshmi in the form of health. They enjoy Lakshmi in the form of Arogya Lakshmi. And those who dedicate their lives to acquiring power may gain the power they seek if everything goes well. If their prayers are appropriate and their previous karma, prarabdha karma, is not totally against it, they will have power. Thus, Krishna says, whether people ask for small ends or big ends, they are all on my track, whether they know it or not. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. So, see, it depends. Not that everybody who prays will get whatever they want. There are two more disclaimers there. One, your prarabdha karma should be conducive. And if everything else goes well, and their prayers are appropriate. So many things have to fall in place for your the prayer to be fulfilled. The next we'll see everyone wants to be free from feeling small. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.